Today I would like to teach a few exercises as I'm stretching myself out right now um, for the freeze response in your nervous system. So that's the fight, flight, freeze, and then you've also got fawn. And who knows, they might come up with some new ones in the future. But the freeze response is generally when you are in a situation that is threatening or perceived as dangerous and you can't fight back to protect yourself. You can't, or your body system, your brain discerns that running away from the situation wouldn't be productive, so the body kind of goes into a freeze, shut down, preserve state. It's that playing dead state that you see in animals. Apparently, this can also be a preparation for deciding whether to fight or flee in a situation as well. It's like the psychology or the body determining what the best point of protection is going to be. So, the freeze response is pretty common. I've experienced it myself several times as a habitual state, and noticed how when that habit of going into freeze instead of fighting or fleeing occurs in my system at a more frequent space, or it just becomes like a home in your nervous system, like it's a familiar state in your nervous system, that can cause a lot of kind of suppressed energy, a lot of feeling of slowness, shutdown, exhaustion, fatigue, stuckness. Everything feels really difficult to do. Moving through your day can feel really challenging. Doing even the smallest things can feel like a huge effort. And it's an interesting thing to describe as someone who's experienced the physical impacts of actual physical fatigue, which that's a whole other health story. But nervous system, when you're in that kind of shutdown state and you're experiencing this slowness and fatigue, it's slightly different. It's as if there's something inside of you pressing in against you that you can feel as a physical thing, but it feels different to actually having like a physical muscular fatigue. I'm sure many people would know what I'm talking about, but it's hard to describe until you're actually in it, how your body feels. Okay, I can feel I need to settle my nervous system now to get ready for this little live stream of meditation. So I'm going to start by teaching with you, but for a quick moment, just before we get started, I'll just get you to, if you are seated, place your hands on your knees or somewhere comfortable, or if you're standing, that's fine too. We're just going to take a few, we're just going to take a few breaths before I take you through the exercises, just to kind of center, close your eyes for a moment and get present. So wherever you are, close your eyes, hands facing down, and just taking 3 deep breaths in and out through your nose. One more. In through your nose. And breathing out. Okay, that was partly just to help myself feel more settled. All right, so this is a really, really simple way to kind of get things moving. So when you're in a freeze response, it can actually sometimes feel like your arms and your legs kind of feel a little bit like bricks. It's really heavy, and sometimes it can feel too hard to get into physical action. Like even exercise can sometimes feel difficult, so you actually have to start slow. Like getting out of bed can feel difficult, having a shower can be exhausting, all those sorts of things. So this is something, so if you're finding it hard to get out of bed, for example, if you're in a real shutdown place, and it can materialize as things as a feeling of depression, you can feel it as a sense of anxiety covered by depression. So some people might be able to relate to that, so that you can feel this heaviness, but a subtle sense of panic underneath as well. There's not peace, there's no calm or peace. Okay, so I'm just explaining it so you understand. So just gently curling your wrists. We'll do one hand at a time, just making gentle circles with your wrists. So if you find yourself in a really frozen state, it can be acute, like something really stressful has happened, or just prolonged, like a functional freeze that you live with, and you're finding it hard to do any movement, just this little movement through the wrist, it starts to open up the nerves in the arms, which translates through your chest and through your stomach without having to force your body into massive action. So it gently kind of unfrosts this locking in your nervous system. So just breathing as you're rolling through your hands, and go back in the other direction. So this is something you can do lying down in bed or just wherever you are if you notice you're finding it hard to get moving. And then come on to the other side, so other hand. You can do it both at the same time. I just find that isolating it into a smaller movement can, strangely enough, change your state in a bigger way. Like less is more, really. So just gentle. And back in the other direction. And remembering to breathe, because your breath first is going to relax you and make you feel more present in your body, but it goes down into your belly. So this connects to your vagus nerve and your stomach and relaxes things here too. All right, and we'll just do both wrists at the same time. And try to kind of soften through your hips and let yourself relax into wherever you're seated. Also, I find that with the freeze response, something that's helpful is gently breathing out through my mouth. I notice that opens up through my chest, and I notice that tingling sensation, my vagus nerve, a releasing of nervous system stress or pressure. So as I'm doing these exercises here and there, I'll breathe out through my mouth or in through my mouth. It just releases a sense of pressure. So hello to anyone who's jumping on. We're just doing some gentle, very basic exercises to kind of defrost the freeze response in your nervous system. So the fight, flight and freeze. But the freeze is slightly different to the fight and flight, and you have to be more gentle and intentional about it. Okay, so we're going to move this to the feet. These are obviously very basic exercises, but sometimes you just kind of need someone to guide you through something really simple to actually make yourself do it. Like you can think, oh, I'm just rolling my foot, what's this going to do? But when you actually focus in on it and do that, it's amazing how much it can open you up and get you out of that stuck place. And then back in the other direction. Remembering to breathe, very basic, just breathing here. And then swap sides to the other foot. Like I can feel my brain getting more alert. I find this when I go live to do nervous system exercises. It's while I'm guiding the exercises that I get more mentally clear. Like I can catch my train of thought, and any of my own nervousness of being live starts to settle. That's good for me too. Okay, so I've done that, and just before we move on to some other exercises, just placing your legs on the ground. So hopefully you're seated or you find some way to do it, and just shaking your legs out on the ground. So you've got all these nerves going down through your upper thighs and connecting down through your calves, I think. I think in the calves, I know they're in the thighs. So this kind of shaking creates movement, stimulates through the legs and up through your vagus nerve, through your chest, relaxing your nervous system there. All right, I'm going to take some water. Okay, just a few more exercises here. It's really simple things you can do. This is kind of more of a yoga movement. You're going to find this in any form of yoga, it's very basic, but I learned this particularly through Kundalini yoga. And Kundalini yoga really focuses on the central nervous system and bringing healing to that part of the body. And it's really great for it, actually. If you're doing it in a balanced way, it can get quite a bit spiritual in some ways with Kundalini yoga, which is not a bad thing. It's just, if you're wanting just the basic physical approach to yoga and your nervous system, you want to keep it a very basic grounded class. All right, so very gently, you're going to need to, you could do this seated in a chair if you wanted to, feet on the ground. But if you're sitting on the floor or finding another position where you could at least cross your legs to a degree, what we're going to do here is just gentle circles. So you're gently rolling through your hips clockwise. And just breathing here, in and out through your nose. And keep it really soft through your belly and your hip area. And soften through your shoulders. Because this is what's actually going to help your body to relax. It's going to help your nervous system to the softness allows it to open up. Allows your body to feel safe enough to release stored tension and pressure. So you're not being limp necessarily, but you're not pushing through tension. You're allowing tension to be opened up and that movement to create space and give permission for your body to release stored stress. I'm going to go back in the other direction. Remembering to breathe. All right, a couple more times. All right, coming back to center, we're just going to take a couple of breaths here, just gently breathing into your belly. Just relax here, resting breaths in and out through your nose. Okay, now we're going to do some gentle rolling through our spine just to gently open things up. So if you're in this same seated position or if you're sitting in a chair, this should work. If you're sitting in a chair, try and have like a backless chair or you're not sitting right back into a back support, so you can have your spine can have some room to move. So sit yourself forward a little bit. So it's gentle, just opening up through your chest, letting your chin lift up towards the sky. As you breathe in and breathe out, gently curl through your spine, letting your chin come towards your neck, and gently open up again. Breathe in, arch up, and gently curl down as you breathe out. I'm going to do this a few more times, so just gently roll with this at a soft pace that feels easy for you. And remembering to breathe with each movement, because that'll keep your body soft and opening up. Two more times. Okay, gently coming back to center. Taking a breath here, relaxing your arms and just kind of wriggling your fingers and toes wherever you are. And breathing. We're going to do one more exercise to finish off. But this is going to be standing. So if you're sitting down somewhere where you can't stand up, that's fine. Just come back and watch the replay. I'm going to have to move my phone so that you can see me as a long screen. Okay. So I was just looking at some comments there. All right, this should be fine. Let's move some of my stuff out the way. Okay, so this is something I've come up with myself. Coming out of the freeze response, one thing that's really helpful and easy to do is, okay, let me explain this. Firstly, I didn't come up with this part myself. So coming out of the freeze response, something that's easy to do is just walking. So I clearly didn't come up with walking, that's obvious. But you can just gently walk. So if you wake up in the morning and you need your body to open up, and you have the capacity, of course, gently walking, but it's intentional walking. You're kind of, it's almost meditative. You're being really present. You're not rushing through the walk, because your arms, your legs, that gentle movement starts to open up through your stomach and chest area and unfrost that tension. But this is not what I'm going to show you here. Something I kind of realized myself while I do this walking, I started adding this in, and I noticed this helped to really relax and open up my nervous system and get me out of a freeze state. So it's very gentle. You're just lifting your arms up and bringing your right knee through, and then the same on the other side. Very gentle, just bringing your knee through your hands. Just reaching up and breathing. It's because what I'm guessing, because this is just an experiment for me, something I learned, is you're using both of your limbs, you're moving through the center of your body and your chest, and you're using your upper thighs. So these core parts of your nervous system and your limbs are being moved, which is what starts to release that tension or open it up, getting you out of that freeze lockdown state. So it's a couple of times. And if you want, you can shake your arms out. Just move my phone back. All right. Okay. I'm going to have a little more water. I'm going to close out with a short meditation. Huff and puff around. Okay, so I would be curious right now for you, if you've done all those exercises, just to check in with your body and seeing how you're actually feeling. So we'll do that through the meditation. I'll just guide you through a bit of awareness practice. So closing your eyes and just sitting down and just letting your energy settle from all that, well, from that movement, but those gentle movements as well, which were small, but especially if you're moving through a freeze state, were quite impactful. So just breathing here. And just feeling into your thighs and your lower back area. And feeling through your arms and your hands. Still gently breathing. And feeling through your chest. And notice how you might be feeling emotionally, if there is an emotional quality to how you're feeling. You might not actually be feeling anything specific, it might be very neutral. But sometimes when we kind of come out of these freeze states, it can bring up emotional energy or just feelings in general. So just be present with it if there's anything there. Don't try to change it, just let it be there. If you need to kind of express those feelings, let them out. And bring your attention into your feet. Relax through your feet. So we're just bringing presence into our body in a more settled way. Just allowing everything to settle. And for me, what I notice after I've done exercises like that is a certain level of activity, like active energy in my muscles and my cells. So things are a little more alive instead of kind of suppressed and locked, or, for lack of a better word, frozen. Because it's obviously not literally frozen temperature-wise, but that feeling of closedness or slowness in the body. There's more activity. Mentally, physically, I feel a warmth through my system. Things are just woken up a little bit more. So we're going to take a couple more breaths here. Now relax through your jaw. Breathing in and out through your nose. Soften through your forehead and through the crown of your head. And relax down the sides of your head and your ears, softening through your ears. And really just settle through your hips. I want to say relaxing your spine, but that kind of feels like, how does one relax their spine? But if you could imagine relaxing your spine, see if you could just let your spine do that. So it's just a sense. Instead of holding tension through your spine, just soften. And just a couple more breaths. We're just going to let everything settle. And relax your eyes here as well. Soften your eyelids. Okay, so when you're ready, gently open your eyes. And thank you for anyone who is here with me or who has jumped on. And feel free to let me know how you went with those exercises, if you noticed a difference, if you had any sensations through your nervous system, your feeling state, your mental state, and also how you feel afterwards. And if it's something that you do more than once, so if you put this video on more than once or whenever you notice yourself feeling shut down, I'd love to know, just as an experiment as well. Because for me, while some of these exercises are things I've learned specifically for unlocking freeze states or helping with my nervous system, some of these things are also things I've learned through experimenting. So I'd love to know if they help other people as well, or how they do, and whether they help others in the same way they help me. All right. Thanks for being here with me. My system's a little like, oh, that was a lot. So in a good way, this shows my body needed it. Okay. I hope you have a good rest of your day or night, and thank you for being here.